Thank you. Let's hope this all works out great. Can you put the presentation up? Yes. Woohoo, we did it. All right, hey, I'm Alicia Berry. I'm an executive producer at Niantic Spatial, and I'm going to talk to you about a case study called Project Jade. We're going to dig in on how we used both AR and AI to create a custom navigation experience, which you can try out here. We're over at the Gare Food Market. You can pick up the demo on the Snap Spectacles in the Niantic Spatial area. So pretty excited to talk about it. We've got two objectives here. The second is to demonstrate the power of large geospatial models. And the second is to talk about Project Jade, which traverses both in-market LLMs in addition to our own custom model. Before we dig in, just to talk a little bit about Niantic Spatial, I want to share about our company. And we've been around for 6 months. We're an unusual startup. We spun out of another company with 200 people. It's very rare that you have 200 people in your startup, all who have visual positioning, mapping experience, and also games experience. What we're doing is building the living model of the world that both machines and people can talk with and to. We've had some experience in this model. These models, our founder and some of our executives, they started Keyhole, which was purchased by Google. And then, hey, good morning. They were purchased by Google, and at that same founder, John Hanke, started Niantic Labs within Google. And the Keyhole technology built Google Maps and Google Earth, but Niantic Labs was very interested in building games on top of the same data. And you may have heard of the games. They started with Ingress was the first, and then Pokemon Go was the second. Peridot was, I think, the 9th, which is what we will be talking about today. Then earlier this year, we sold that primary games business, except for Ingress and Peridot, and we spun out to our own company. And what you can see is we really like maps, and we really like world models, and we really like experiences. So here we are today in our third act. The first is putting the world on a screen with Google Earth. I'm sure most of you have zoomed in and looked at your home. It's the first thing I ever did. The second was making a world, the playground, with Pokemon Go. I'm sure you remember 2016, everyone walking around with their phones. And our third act is to transform that same world into a medium. We're going to be walking away from screens and walking right into the real world. And today we'll show you how Project Jade gets us there. So it's a little bit about our history. Let me tell you a little bit about me, why I'm the voice that is speaking. I have been at Niantic Labs and Spatial for over 5 years, building a number of experiences, focusing on Peridot the last few years, but before that, I was a part of the launch team for Monster Hunter Now, Pikmin Bloom, NBA All World, and some other, and Lightship, which was our flagship software development kit. That's about our history. Let's on to the location-specific AR, AI experience that we call Project Jade. Peridot, if you just know the noun, is a gemstone. Jade is another gemstone, a green one. Project Jade is built on the core AR experiences that we launched in 2023 on the phone, called Peridot Mobile. It has over 1 million downloads and has been in market for 2+ years. It uses the rear-facing camera to do semantic segmentation of the real world. We do ground detection. We also have vision recognition models that identify things in the scene, and Peridot interacts with it. We were the first game that we know of in the market that integrated any AI into any in-market game. But Peridot in general is Niantic Spatial's living example of how AI can see, understand, and interact with the real world through playful and intelligent virtual characters. Earlier this year, we started experimenting with a deeper AR and AI initiative, and that's where Project Jade was started. We built it off of Peridot Beyond, which was the first app shipped on the Snap Spectacles at launch in 2024. You may have tried that at Web Summit last year. We had a huge line there, and we got a lot of press over it. It was very cute. It was basically what we call a lift and shift in the marketplace of taking our mobile game and dropping it into the headset. Obviously, using Lens Studio versus Unity, our engine that we built on the mobile game. people really felt it was immersive. You can play Frisbee. Project Jade is not a game. It doesn't have game mechanics, but it does use that same creature, the physics, the textures, the shaders, interaction model to take a small character and introduce you to the real world through navigation. When we set out to build Project Jade, we knew that the large geospatial model could and would answer where. It is exceptional at telling me where I am relative, but relative to what? So here's the dot. This is the Embarcadero. It's a street that's beautiful in San Francisco. This is our office, the Ferry Building, and this is one of our key visuals of the experience. And you can see that it knows not only where it is, but also what is around it. Here is the ferry these are the next ferries, the time, the temperature in Fahrenheit. Sorry, we should have changed that to Celsius for you all. And understanding this is the walkway, this is the giant artwork, and Peridot, if we train it correctly, will understand this at the time. So let me go into a higher level. To build this experience, we needed to answer basic where and what questions relative to the person immersed in the experience. And remember, you're on Snap Spectacles. So this is full AR with head tracking, with hand tracking, and then we use a lot of some of the core mechanics within the Snap Spectacles to power it. But all of the location and all of the conversation is built either through in-market AI or our own AI. So our large geospatial model localizes answering the where. We do where better than anyone. And it wouldn't be an AI talk if I didn't create some cringy Sora videos, so let's watch those.
Where is it? Where was it? Where will it be? Where should it be? Where could it be? That's the premise.
All right. But then we really needed to answer what. So that's what the dot answers, what. So yet again, another cringy video. I think AI made creating decks so fantastic.
What is it? What was it? What will it be? What could it be? What should it be? What could it be?
When we marry in-market Gen AI models with the power of where, you can tell a super compelling story. You may notice that I put could in there twice because it's just ripe for creating entertainment experience. What could be there? Let's push the imagination. So now that you understand the questions we set out to answer, let's talk about the experience. Fun fact, most of the artwork, most of the GIFs I'm showing or the photos I'm showing are actually coming from our in-market AR game. So this is a person who basically hatched this Peridot and then took their camera and took a video of a cat and called it a copycat. This is just a post I took off of Reddit. And it's just so great to see people doing this just with a dumb character, a character that has the animations, and putting it on top of the real world. I think this is a maybe 2-year-old video. But the custom AI experience we call Project Jade was intended to truly augment the real world. This is faking it. This is made possible on the Snap Spectacles because they provide the tracking, the rendering, and much more in addition to the Niantic Spatial large geospatial model. So this is some of the concept that we were trying to do. We really wanted to have a chatbot and a map and the ability for a group of people or a person to be able to answer what and where, but with a lovable character. You might notice Peridot is very, very cute. I'm going to go through some of the concept art that we used to build this experience. I mentioned the Ferry Building. This is in San Francisco. This is our lobby. And in this scene, you see Peridot potentially hopping down from the ceiling, and you know that this ferry is leaving. The traffic here is horrific. It's a 15 Celsius degree day. Maybe you should water that plant, what have you. Just remember this scene because you'll see it. We've got a video of Peridot running through this scene later. What we really wanted to do is to be able to send photos to some sort of LLM that would take the photo, understand, without us having to do a whole bunch of training of any models, and be able to take information from that to provide a custom tour. So in this concept is, oh, I see some bikes. I'm a person. What are these bikes? And Peridot says, yeah, those bikes, anyone could borrow those. And then the next step would be you would get on that bike, and then Peridot would take you on a custom route of the city to see all the best places, the things that they know, that it knows that you want to see. And so there's nothing like this in market right now. There's something that will give you, some recommendations and words, but there's nothing that's going to allow you to navigate your bike, maybe in a new city or a strange city. And the third concept video is there's a lot of safety problems when you're just blindly following a character. And we saw this with Google when they launched their Fox campaign like maybe 10 years ago. It was pretty devastating because people would follow the fox and they would walk right into traffic. And so we knew that this was going to be a problem to begin with, so we built it from the get-go. Whenever we know that there are stairs, the dot stops and says, hey, there's stairs here. If there's a door, the dot will not go through it, so you don't run into a door. If you're at an intersection, I know that's funny, but we'll talk about some of the lessons learned. People get truly immersed and they just don't pay attention. Sadly, our Project Jade does not have full understanding of every single thing in the scene yet because we're only 6 months old. But if we have something in the scene that we don't expect and a person isn't paying attention, they can walk right into the garbage can or the pillar, which we have seen already this week. So we really wanted to bring safety first, but this is a journey, and it really needs to marry computer vision, AI, and our LGM to provide a safe experience for people. So let me show you a video.
There. I'm Dot. Welcome to the TED AI event at Niantic Spatial. Let me show you the way to the panel.
None of this is faked. This is exactly the experience taken from inside the Snap spectacles.
Here we are, the forest.
So this is where we held the TED AI event. It was packed.
At Niantic Spatial, we're building something extraordinary, a living model of the world that both humans and machines can talk to.
This is that lobby. You see the Bay Bridge.
Tonight's TED AI gathering is something truly special, a meeting of brilliant minds from AI, robotics, and spatial technologies. Hope you enjoyed the event. See you soon.
So that's just a very, I think a production assistant created this, not a professional videographer. It renders so nicely, really tells the story. For the tech, I'm just going to call out this. This is Lunatic Pandora from a Peridot player in their probably backyard. But the tech we used, as I mentioned, both Unity and Lens Studio to create the scene. We used Hume for the voice, which is, I'm just going to call that out because we had used a different voice Gen AI model, and it could not capture emotion. The tone was frequently off. And we worked side by side with Hume before they even launched their model to provide emotionally responsive response to the person that made sense. And when we saw that the voice was actually what people expected, the immersion was so much more. And so I know that we're talking about a case study, and as you're building out your own experiences, if it is voice-driven, this is so important and something that's completely new. It was a synthetic voice that they created us from scratch. As we continue to go forward in this new world-scale medium, the things that we're used to, talking to people, need to come across very naturally, or you break the immersion, or it feels like you're talking to a chatbot. In addition, we use Liquid City, which is a European developer, to use their tool called Parabrain. That Parabrain is just a multimodal LLM tool that allows us to hit things like Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude. All of these are powering this experience. So whenever we're talking to Peridot, we're feeding in the text, the voice, transitioning that to text, figuring out which model is best suited for this input, then getting the response back, then putting it back through Hume in the voice, and coming back with a voice response. And the latency we thought would be a very large challenge with hopping through all of these models, but it's very seamless. And if you've got a good network connection, which is a big if, it feels instantaneous and it feels real, very immersive. Then we put that on top of our LGM, and then the LGM prepares data in a way that all of these models can truly understand and provide context without us having to build a bridge or a proxy or any sort of go-between layer. We built this in under 3 months. This particular event is our 7th time running it, and we built this event from beginning, middle to end in under 48 hours. So we're getting faster at this. It's not instantaneous, but as we continue to play around with this type of project, we can see a world where you're just here in Brussels for a conference, and you know your hotel, and you roughly know where the conference is, and where are you going to eat lunch, and what's for dinner, and I have 2 hours, can I see the castle this afternoon? And it all could just be for you. You do not need an assistant to plan this for you, and you also do need to understand arrows. You could potentially just chat with your Peridot in a normal voice and traverse the space. Or think about this. You're in a manufacturing facility, and you know that there are 7 broken pipes in this space, but you don't know exactly where it is, and you're wearing some sort of wearable that allows you to see the space and to go to the proper location to fix that problem as a maintenance person. You go through your checklist, and you don't need to look at a map, you don't need to understand the facility. You could be a contractor, so you could save time, and you can provide precision and accuracy by the same technology. It doesn't have to be an adorable Peridot. That's why we built it on this particular interface, because we want people to use their imaginations. As a new startup, we can do anything we want. And we want people to understand that this is the first thing we've chosen to show, but there's so much more we can do with this technology. So the outcome is Project Jade. Oops, I went the wrong way. So just a quick overview for this particular project. We can take drone, we could take Photon, which is our proprietary camera. We could take a drone or a robot, but in this case, we just use Scaniverse. It's an in-market consumer app available right now. We love it. And we did meshes. We saved to a private map, which is also available, called the Geospatial browser, which allowed us to do our scan processing, our 3D reconstruction, some of our alignment, and some of our geo-referencing. For this particular event, we did a lot of by hand. Where is the Japanese restaurant? Where is the beer garden? Because that's where the technology is today, but we expect this to be automatic within months. So the large geospatial model services we use is the LGM Localize, which is Where Am I? The LGM Understand, which is providing contextual awareness relative to other things. We didn't do too much reconstruction. That would be like your Gaussian splat rendering. We think that this powers multiple use cases, but in particular, intelligent logistics and immersive experience, in addition to spatial collaboration. Crazy story, 20 minutes before I walked into this room, we used the same technology to navigate a robot through our office. We put a phone on a robot, and we use it to navigate. It was very fast. It took us about 2 months to figure this out. We ordered a Tron from China end to end, and we use software to move hardware. This technology is crazy. It's moving faster than we can imagine. And what we see is this transition from this virtual reality to the augmented reality, and more kinesthetic, more physical interaction with the physical world. It doesn't have to be games. And I think we basically just talked about this, but this is our large geospatial model. It can bring you Peridot, it can bring you robots, it could bring you rendering Gaussian splats. So some of the learnings, I think we're very used to a text input and then buttons. We're very used to picking our location. What we're not used to is, what do you want to do today? And then you respond. And so we put no buttons in this because, one, it's very challenging to teach people hand tracking on the fly. And two, it's not natural. We're dealing with the real world. We might as well we don't need to abstract. So people are a little bit uncomfortable with open-ended questions and open-ended statements, which we did not expect. Our second major learning was that the spectacles are extremely immersive. And even though it has a very small field of view, within minutes you get used to it. And we have seen many times where people are like, oh no, I left the Peridot behind. Oh no, I closed the Peridot in the door. About 99% of people open the door for the Peridot. This is an animation. This is not a thing. And it is within minutes. They feel like there's physicality. We added about a month ago the ability to crouch down and pet the Peridot, and little hearts come up. And when we show people that, they just fall in love. They want to hug it. It's really compelling, this new medium. And if you think about understanding the real world and having physicality of a virtual thing, it's the future. And one thing that we notice is that people just continue to want to play with it. So I don't want to, Snap spectacles are, the version we have in market, are a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know if you tried it. They're a little bit tight, they're pretty heavy, and most people, especially when we were demoing Peridot Beyond, will play it for a few minutes and take them off because it's uncomfortable. But with this particular experience, they just want to talk, and they get down and even though there's no game, the time spent is longer than when there is a game mechanic, which is pretty interesting. Also, this is a player. This is Riviere. This is the Peridot's name is Riviere Argenti. Has a stuffy, which we do have some available at our booth, and took next to his virtual being. And I think one more last. Yep, I think I covered that. All right. So to sum, by combining AI and AR and adding the voice output, immersive hardware like the Snap Spectacles, and highly interactive spatial map that all of this can understand, we can pretty much conjugate the word to be across both where and what. And at a conference where many people speak different languages, we all learn to be, and I think this is very foundational. If we can conjugate to be across the where and the what, all of a sudden we can conquer new horizons, and I'm pretty excited to be here to talk about it. And maybe someday we won't push the buttons or type. We can walk side by side with our dot with our heads up, experiencing our best lives with our Peridot by our side. Thank you. I think we have some time for questions.
Any questions?
It's always me, no? Thank you very much for the super interesting project, and thank you for sharing it with us. I will try to formulate my question to the best of my abilities because there's a lot to unpack. I keep thinking about what you said about this emotional connection that we create with the virtual character, and how much we can get attached to them, right? I have a 9-year-old. Yeah. So I would like to know, remember the 9-year-old because it's important, and then I will jump to the other topic. So we are also developing a sustainability project that uses AI to inform people about, sustainability, forestry, etc. But we have to be mindful about the environment because of the usage, right? So we limit the use to say, okay, the characters are telling you, you know what, I'm tired, remember that this goes through energy as well, so let's keep it slow. No? So going back to my 9-year-old, right? This emotional connection, this dependency to a character, are there any guardrails that you are working on or that you're thinking about, like if someone, to prevent, let's say, not only a younger generation, but any user to say, okay, it's great that you're creating this emotional connection, but maybe you had enough for now and go out to the real world and explore? Is this something that is, maybe there's no answer to this, but I was curious.
If we were to launch this world scale, absolutely. Right now, this is a tech demo, but I hear you. I like the concept of, I'm tired, maybe it's time to stop. Right now, we're very limited by the hardware. It's maybe 30, 40 minutes of battery if on a great day. So I don't think we're at the day yet where people could wear these all day and experience this, but yes, absolutely.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much, Alicia, for that wonderful presentation.
Thank you.